Hello, my name's Sue and today I'm going to tell you a story called Baba Yaga and the Stolen Baby. Now Baba Yaga is a character who appears quite often in Eastern European and Russian folk tales, and this particular version, which is retold by Alison Lurie, comes from Russia, and Baba Yaga is a witch, and sometimes she's really quite frightening and sometimes she's more of a wise woman who challenges you, and in this particular version she's quite frightening. Now in this story kind acts are important again, and also what you'll notice in this story is kind of the power of threes. Threes seem to have a bit of a magic quality in stories. And in this story there are three animals, three kind acts, three objects which help Eleanor, our heroine, out of a very tight spot. I hope you enjoy it. Long ago there was a man and his wife, and they had two children, a girl and a boy. And one day the mother said to her daughter, "Eleanor, your father and I are off to market. Now look after your brother while we're gone. Stay inside with him and watch out, because Baba Yaga's black geese have been seen flying over the village, and they steal children. You know that, so take care. When we come home, we'll bring some sugar buns for tea." When her father and mother had gone, Eleanor sat inside with her little brother and played with him for a while. But she soon got tired of this, and she could see that her friends were playing outside. So she carefully picked up her brother, took him outside, laid him down on the grass, and went to play with her friends. And soon she forgot all about him. The black geese flew over, swooped down, seized her brother, and flew away. When Eleanor realised that her brother had gone, she was beside herself. She was terrified. She shouted his name, but he didn't answer. And of course soon she told herself that the Baba Yaga's black geese must have seized her brother, have stolen him and taken him to her, the witch in the forest, Baba Yaga, who was 8 feet tall and eats little children. "I must run after him," said Eleanor, and straight away she started to run towards the forest. She ran through some fields, and in one of the fields there was a small pond, and by the side of the pond there was a fish on the bank, and it was lying on its side, panting and gasping. "Eleanor, Eleanor," it said, "I'm dying." Eleanor needed to get to the forest. She was desperate to go and rescue her brother, but she felt sorry for the fish, so she stopped. She carefully picked it up and put it back into the pond. The fish sank to the bottom of the pond and then rose up to the surface again. "Eleanor," it said, "as you have helped me, so I shall help you. Here is a shell. If ever you find yourself in danger, throw it over your shoulder." Eleanor didn't really understand how a shell could help her, but she didn't want to appear rude, so she took the shell, put it into her apron pocket, and ran on. Presently she came to a grove of trees, and in the grove of trees she saw a squirrel who had been caught in a trap. "Eleanor, Eleanor," it said, "my leg is caught." Eleanor was desperate to run to the forest. She needed to rescue her brother, but she felt sorry for the squirrel, and so she stopped and she opened the trap and released the squirrel's leg. The squirrel ran up into the tree and ran down again. "Eleanor," it said, "as you have helped me, so I shall help you. Here is a walnut. If you ever find yourself in danger, throw it over your shoulder." Eleanor took the nut, put it into her apron pocket, and ran on. Soon she came to a rocky outcrop, and there she saw a field mouse who was struggling and heaving and pulling at a large rock. "Eleanor, Eleanor," the field mouse said, "I can't get into my hole." Eleanor so needed to get to the forest to go and find her brother, but she felt sorry for the field mouse, so she pushed and pushed and pushed and heaved the large rock out of the way. The field mouse darted into its hole and darted out again. "Eleanor," it said, "as you have helped me, so I shall help you. Here is a pebble. If you ever find yourself in danger, throw it over your shoulder." Eleanor took the pebble, put it into her apron pocket, and ran on into the forest. The forest was so dark. The trees grew so thickly there, so close together, that not one speck of daylight could get through. Presently, Eleanor came to a clearing, and there in the clearing was Baba Yaga's hut, a house on 3 giant chicken legs. The house could go wherever it wanted, whenever it wanted. And there, on the roof, were the black geese, roosting, asleep. Eleanor crept up to the house and looked in the window. There was Baba Yaga, asleep, snoring loudly through her long nose. And near her on the floor was her little brother, playing with some bones. Eleanor crept into the house, picked up her little brother, and tiptoed out. But when she was running away from the house, the black geese woke up and saw her, and they began to honk, 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 and clap their wings. And Baba Yaga woke up. "Stop, thief!" she screamed. "Who has stolen my dinner?" Eleanor did not stop, and she didn't answer the witch, but she ran as quickly as she could, and Baba Yaga started to run after her on her very long, bony legs. Eleanor couldn't run as fast as usual because she was carrying her brother, and he became heavier and heavier. And when she looked behind her, Baba Yaga was gaining on her. What could she do? Suddenly, she remembered what the fish had said, and she reached into her apron pocket, pulled out the shell and threw it over her shoulder. Whew! Immediately, a broad lake sprang up, so wide that Baba Yaga couldn't get round it. And so she squatted at the edge and began to drink it. She drank so fast that the water began to sink at once, and soon she had drunk the entire lake, and then she ran on. Eleanor looked over her shoulder and saw that the lake had gone and that the witch was gaining on her. What could she do? She suddenly remembered what the squirrel had said. She reached into her apron pocket and pulled out the nut and threw it over her shoulder. Whew! Instantly, a grove of trees sprang up with the trunks so tightly packed together that Baba Yaga couldn't get through. And so she began to eat through the trees with her sharp teeth. And she ate so quickly that soon she had eaten the whole grove of trees, and then she ran on. Eleanor looked behind her over her shoulder, and she could see that the whole grove of trees had gone and that Baba Yaga was gaining on her ever closer. She could hear her sharp teeth gnashing, and she could also see her bony fingers reaching towards her. What could she do? She remembered what the field mouse had said, and she reached into her apron pocket, pulled out the pebble and threw it over her shoulder. Immediately, a giant mountain stood there, with the top reaching high, high, high into the clouds, so wide that Baba Yaga could not get round it. She could not eat it, she could not drink it, and she could not get over it. She had to return to her hut, cursing and grumbling and growling. As for Eleanor, she went back to the village, and she was playing safely with her little brother when her mother and father returned home from the market with sugar buns for tea. Phew. I wonder if she ever told her parents what had happened while they were out. Hope you enjoyed that story. See you next time.